I live on the go, and now I can bank on the go. With Midwest Bank, I have everything I need at my fingertips. I'm volleyball player Allie Batenhorst, and at Midwest Bank, you'll love banking here.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Junior Achievement at Lincoln inspires and prepares today's young dreamers to be tomorrow's goal breakers, leaders, and things we haven't even imagined yet. Help more kids while having a great time at the JA Bowl-a-thon. Sign your team up and raise money to ensure the educational programs focused on financial literacy, career readiness, and entrepreneurship are always free to thousands of students. The JA Bowl-a-thon is February 16th and 17th at Parkway Lanes and Hollywood Bowl. Register at lincoln.ja.org.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Are you in the market for a new garage door or need to repair your old one? It's wintertime, and that means snow, wind, and freezing temperatures. All things that can cause sticky locks and damage to your garage door. If you're experiencing any issues with your commercial or residential garage door during the winter months, call Cameron Hall and his team at Doors Plus. Don't be trapped outside in the cold because of a poorly maintained garage door. Call Doors Plus today at 402-590-5800 or visit them online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
This is Adam Carriker on the ticket.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here's your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome, everybody, to Adam Carriker on The Ticket. I hope you folks are having a phenomenal Friday, because as always, I got me a case of the Fridays because I'm ready for the weekend. It's been a very busy week in the Carriker household, but it has been a great week. Looking forward to a great weekend. Got a lot of Husker sports to talk about. We got a professional sports team in Omaha. I don't know if you heard. Husker basketball is doing pretty well in their own right. Are they on their way to the NCAA tournament, getting their first NCAA tournament win in program history? Also, we're going to talk some Nebraska women's basketball. All right, Husker women's basketball coach Amy Williams is going to be joining me at 12:30 today. So I'm going to chat with Coach Amy Williams at 12:30 today, talking Husker basketball, talking Omaha Supernovas volleyball. Of course, you know, they're still throwing that pigskin around just a smidge. Got an AFC title game to preview, NFC title game to preview. We're going to talk a little bit of number one overall pick versus Mr. Irrelevant. And then two of the best coaches in the game today going head to head. That's the two quarterbacks in the NFC Championship game, the two head coaches in the AFC Championship game. Jim Harbaugh, he's no longer a pain in our butt. He's no longer a thorn in our side. He's no longer our issue. Now, as a college football fan, college football is better with Jim Harbaugh, whether you like him or not. As a Husker fan, good luck in San Diego. I wish you nothing but the best. And the more success you have there, the longer you stay and the longer you stay out of our hair. So we're going to chat just a little bit about Jim Harbaugh. He's been talked about so much, constantly in the news. Mr. Khakis himself. Kind of earned that right, though. Got to give him that respect, whether you like him or not. Okay, chat about him just a smidge. If you couldn't tell, loaded show as always. All right, ladies and gentlemen, GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, great accents for any backyard landscaping project. They sell to homeowners and contractors, and they deliver anywhere near or far. Stop by at 6701 Cornersker Highway. Check out GELandscapesupply.com. That's GELandscapesupply.com, or call 402-467-1627. As always, the People segment. Send me your questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, otherwise. 402-464-5685. I recently discovered that I can see the YouTube comments, so that's always fun. So you can put a comment, and I will respond to questions, comments, thoughts, or concerns, as long as they're somewhat reasonably reasonable. Paying a little homage to Bob Diaco there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive in real quick. Husker basketball, okay? They get a really big win earlier this week. They moved to 15-5, their best start in over 3 decades. All right, this team they're fun to watch and they're maddening to watch all at the same time. Okay, the most recent game went well, so it was a lot of fun. They're fun to watch because you can see what they're capable of. They're maddening to watch because then a team that lacks consistency, which when I spoke with Eric Strickland, okay, about a week ago on this show, that was the biggest thing he talked about, was being consistent. Okay, not just being motivated after a tough loss, all right? After a tough loss, whether it's Creighton or otherwise. Again, I don't mean to reach back too far back into the season. We just know that Fred Hoiberg kind of lit a fire in them after that Creighton game, and they responded well. So anytime they have a tough loss, they seem to respond well. But it's not only handling difficulties, but it's how you handle success. I tell crowds of people that I talk to, whether it's a business, whether it's a sports team, whether it's teams I'm coaching, it's people who are successful, okay? The most difficult part about being successful is being consistent. Can you handle success? Can you handle adversity, controversy? Can you handle what is sent your way? It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. This Husker basketball team, I feel like they got to handle success better, okay? They've proven they can bounce back from difficult losses and difficult games. They got to be able to maintain after a good win. Okay, they got to be able to handle success and be consistent. It's hard to be consistent. Anybody can show up 50% of the time, 70% of the time, 80% of the time, 75% of the time. It's hard to show up every day. Okay, I played with an individual. I'm going to have to be as vague as possible because it'll be pretty easy to figure out who it is if I give too much information. This individual, his first year, was on the field part of the time, and he excelled, and he got honors for that. And eventually, over time, I was like, dude, you're going to be asked to play more and more. And it's easy to go in on certain situations and go a million miles an hour for 15, maybe 20 plays a game, and then rest the rest of the game and not have to worry about, God, I'm trying to be vague, not have to worry about runs and passes and third and shorts. When you're just in on specific situations and you know what you're going to do, it's easy. All of a sudden, this individual was playing more and starting more, and he found out it's hard to be consistent day in and day out. That's the biggest challenge that a lot of people face, especially when it comes to sports. This Nebraska basketball team, they're fun. They're fun to watch. Handle success. Be consistent. It'll be even more fun. Okay, now, I predict, and Eric Strickland said 22 games was the magic number in his head. I kind of had that thought in my mind as well, that same exact number to get into the tournament. I 100% believe they can get into the tournament, okay? Now, let's be honest. Nebraska basketball is not going to get the benefit of the doubt. If we've got a similar record and a similar strength of schedule, so to speak, versus another potential program, they might get the benefit of the doubt. So I'd rather get 22-plus wins if possible, make a little run in the Big Ten tournament, make it an easy decision, okay, as far as who should go in and who should go out, and us being one of the teams that goes into the tournament. And depending on the seeding, because a lot of times it's the matchup that you get once you're in, I believe they can get their first tournament win this year because they have shown they didn't just beat Purdue. I mean, they beat them down. They have shown that they can play with high-level teams. So they could potentially, for one game, rise up and beat anybody. So I predict they get in the tournament. I'm going to wait and see the matchup. If we get in, hopefully we do, before I make a prediction on if they're going to get the first tournament win. But I sure love to see it. Now, some of you may remember, okay, this is their best start. Or some of you may be aware, some of you may remember, this is their best start in program history in over 3 decades. And when they got into that tournament just over 30 years ago, they actually had the number 3 seed in the tournament, and they got upset by number 12. See, I wrote it down. I think it was Xavier. Okay, all right. And it was number 3, got upset by number 12. Believe it was Xavier. Here's what I have. They lost to number 12, and then I forgot to write the name of the team down, but I'm pretty sure that's who it was. Okay. So they got Maryland on Saturday. The following week, their next game is versus number 13, Wisconsin. All right. Omaha Supernovas. Nebraska's first professional volleyball team. All right. Really our first pro sports team that there really is. Great atmosphere, okay, at their first game. All right. There was some fun people in attendance, a lot of great atmosphere, a lot of folks. You had Kenny Bell in attendance. You had former Nebraska quarterback Adrian Martinez in attendance. Okay. It was a fun match to watch. Unfortunately, they lost, had a 5-set loss to the Atlanta Vibe, but I tell you what, great atmosphere, great match, great competition, great way to kick it off. Obviously, you want to get the dub, but that aside, it's going to be fun to watch the Omaha Supernovas, which, by the way, 93-7 the ticket's going to be doing an awful lot with that team as well, so do not miss out when it comes to the Supernovas. All right, Jim Harbaugh, really quick. Okay. If you didn't know, new head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm still in the habit of saying San Diego. It's crazy. All right. I don't even know. I know why they moved to L.A. The almighty dollar speaks loudly, but I still think they should be in San Diego. The L.A. Chargers. All right. Jim Harbaugh is their new head coach. 5-year deal, $12.5 million a year. Initially, it was floated that he might be getting paid upwards of $18 million a year, but not quite. Still not, first world problems here, doing pretty well. Now, obviously, Michigan trying to bring him back. I think there's a couple of reasons he didn't come back. Okay, number one, 5 years, $12 million a year, the opportunity to finish, okay, what he started in the NFL, which was just being one play away from a Super Bowl championship. Okay, he's won everywhere he's been. Everywhere he's been. Okay, now he's got that title at Michigan. Obviously, there could be some things coming Michigan's way, sanctions-wise, things of that nature. So maybe he pulled a Pete Carroll and got out of Dodge before it came his way. Also, now, I know from folks in his camp, he feels like it's a witch hunt, but that's a topic for another day. Okay, so that's probably part of it. Part of it's trying to get that Super Bowl championship. I mean, he's had a lot of success in the NFL, almost there, probably wants to go get it. What he feels like is a witch hunt, okay, people coming after him in college. Also, let's be honest, college football is a nightmare to coach right now. I know several young coaches. I'm not talking guys 60s, 70s. I'm talking guys 40s. And no, I'm not hitting at anybody on the Nebraska football program. I'm talking general college football coaches who seem to be in the prime of their careers who are exhausted. They are exhausted. The way the college football schedule is right now cannot stay this way much longer. I was going to say ever. Cannot stay this way much longer. You got teams getting ready. So think about next year. Okay, December, you're going to have college football playoff games. You got the transfer portal opening up. You got National Signing Day. So National Signing Day, okay, third Wednesday of December. You, in theory, could have National Signing Day on a Wednesday. You could have a playoff game, Okay, the first round of the playoffs is a game on Friday night, 3 on Saturday. So you could have a playoff game that Friday, Saturday. You could have National Signing Day. You could have transfer portal. It's exhausting. You got to recruit high school kids. You got to recruit other colleges kids. You got to recruit your own kids. You got to try to get ready to coach the biggest game of the year, playoff games. Okay, by the way, I don't know, holidays, Christmas, these people are people as well. Something's got to give. The calendar makes no freaking sense. Hey, let's have the draft, if you're the NFL, let's have the draft in the middle of free agency, in the middle of the AFC-NFC championship game, because that's basically what they do right now in college football. Not only is it ridiculous, you're not maximizing dollars. If you spread this out, you could have coverage year-round with stuff actually worthy of being talked about year-round. They're leaving money on the table. It's a bad schedule. You're wearing out coaches. Okay, there are coaches who've gone from coaching, okay, some of them were fired, but they've gone to television, actually up their stock, because everybody sounds smart on TV. Everybody has all the right answers on TV. You do that long enough, your face is out there, your name is out there, your stock goes up, okay? Then maybe you get back into coaching when college football kind of finally figures itself out. There's been hints of coaches across the country who have noticed what other people are doing and be like, hey, that's not such a bad idea. Maybe I go make some money, raise my stock on TV for 4 or 5 years, let college football figure itself the hell out, and then I'll come back in when my life can be easier and more, a little bit more normal, so to speak. So maybe Harbaugh said I'm out because of that. That could be a reason he got out. Probably a combination of a little bit of everything. And I've mentioned this before multiple places. Okay, you got Justin Herbert. You're not going to walk into many NFL teams that just fired a coach, and you got one of the top 12 to 15 quarterbacks in the league. Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, running back, wide receiver. You got a Bosa on the defensive side of the ball. You got a team that's been in the playoffs way more often than not. At the number 5 overall pick in the draft, so you can build. Way more often than not, they've been in the playoffs the past 5 to 10 years. Okay, it's a great, you got to live in California. Wouldn't be for me personally, but some people like it. So I can see why Harbaugh went. All right, so you look at Michigan now. All right, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on the Wolverines, but how are they going to look next year? Because you start to look, their head coach is gone, their quarterback is gone, J.J. McCarthy going to the draft, Blake Corum, maybe the best running back in Michigan history, is now graduated and gone. Okay, the entire offensive line is gone. Now, I'm not sitting here saying Michigan's not going to be a good team. They're probably still going to be a top 10 team. Okay, I don't think this last Michigan team, I said it on this show before they went out and won a national title, this is probably the best Michigan team that they've had in the past 3 years, which was 3 straight wins over Ohio State, 3 straight college football playoff teams. They went out and won the title. Of the Michigan's team over the past 4 years, this upcoming, and we'll learn a lot more, a lot more to happen before they kick the games off coming up at the end of August, 1st September, probably the least good. But they're still probably going to be a playoff team, which is a top 12 team in the country, top 10 team in the country. We got some of those automatic bids. So if you don't win your conference, you probably got to be top 10. Because now with 2 really power conferences, Big 10, SEC, 2 mid-power conferences, ACC, Big 12, there's 6 automatic qualifier spots, 6 conference champions. So that means 2 non-power conferences, whatever you want to call these conferences, or champions are going to get in. So that's got to be amended down the road at some point. So maybe you got to be top 10 unless you win your conference championship if you're a so-called power conference team. Okay. Michigan's going to be all right. They're not going to be as good as they've been. They still got Donovan Edwards, who is faster, has better top-end speed than Blake Corum. Maybe he's a better running back. I don't think he's much of a drop-off at all if it is. Okay, so Michigan will be all right. Sharon Moore. Brian Kelly's name has been brought up as a Michigan head coach. Not exactly a great cultural fit down there in LSU, although if you win games, that's all that matters. Built a heck of an offense, not so much on defense there for the Tigers in Baton Rouge. But his name's been thrown around for Michigan because he'd be a guy that would win games and a little better fit when it comes to personality-wise, so to speak. But I think the obvious answer is Sharon Moore, the offensive coordinator, who's also their offensive line coach, which is why their identity is what it is. A guy who won 6 games last year as the head coach when Harbaugh was suspended, probably the likely guy to step in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk AFC, NFC championship games. All right, so when you look at the AFC championship game, this is an intriguing one to me from the coaching perspective. Now, the Chiefs have been to 5 straight AFC title games. Okay. They got Patrick Mahomes, obviously, who, again, just played in his first ever road playoff game. Think about all the playoff games you've watched with Patrick Mahomes in it. First ever road playoff game was last week versus Buffalo. Still amazing to me. Against the Ravens, who are a 4-point favorite, and that's been fairly steady, 3 to 4 point favorite this entire week. Okay. And Lamar Jackson. Probably Josh Allen's in this conversation, a couple other guys are in this conversation, but the two most, if I were to use the word electrifying quarterbacks, okay, in the league are Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. Okay. So that's going to be fun to watch. Now, they get enough publicity. I'm going to talk about the coaches. Okay. Because you've got John Harbaugh, who I shared a story about from my personal experience with him last Monday. He's been the head coach of the Ravens since 2008, his 16th season. Okay, his regular season win percentage is .618 in the playoffs. He's 12-9, .571. Okay, he holds the NFL record for the most road playoff wins with 8. Okay, he's coached in 280 total NFL games. Okay, 172 and 108 NFL and regular season combined, .614 winning percentage. Okay. And obviously, he beat his brother, Jim Harbaugh, to win the Super Bowl championship. If you remember a few years ago, and if you remember, the lights actually went out in that game. It was in a dome, I believe. Say Cincinnati, New Orleans. I could be wrong. Could have been Atlanta. Someplace with a dome. The lights went out in the middle of that Super Bowl, if you remember. John Harbaugh is a proven winner, a guy who's been there forever, a guy who's won a Super Bowl, one of the best coaches in the NFL, versus Andy Reid. For those who don't remember, those who don't know, right? He was the head coach of the Eagles before he was ever with the Chiefs, 1999 to 2012. Right. Now, he's been with the Chiefs since 2013, right? So 11 years with the Chiefs, 13 with the Eagles. It didn't seem like 11 with the Chiefs when I looked this up, but holy cow. 24 total years of being an NFL head coach. Okay. 5 times they went to the NFC title game, 5 straight with him and Donovan McNabb, 1 Super Bowl as well. They lost to the Patriots. Okay. Now, he is a 2-time Super Bowl champion. Okay. Now, head coach of 443 NFL games. Think about that. That's crazy. 443 times he stepped foot on an NFL field as a head coach. That's 2/3 of an entire, hold on. That's more than a year. I don't know why I said 2/3 of a year. That's like a year and a third. Okay. That's crazy. 282 wins, 160 losses, and 1 tie. Okay. A .638 career winning percentage for Andy Reid. So you've got guys who've been in these positions before. You got guys with experience. You got guys who've coached longer than some people who are listening to this show right now have been alive. They've been the head coaches of NFL teams for longer than, like John Harbaugh has been an NFL coach for so long he could almost drive 16 years as an NFL coach. If that made any sense, I hope it kind of sort of somewhat did. This is going to be a fun matchup. Okay. And you look at the Ravens, and it's funny to me because just a few years ago, they had 3 Heisman Trophy winners in their backfield. Okay, they had Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram, Robert Griffin III. Okay. And so this is a team that's now fully loaded again. They got Hollywood Brown at receiver, Mark Andrews at tight end, Lamar Jackson at quarterback, Odell Beckham at wide receiver. Their defense is known for forcing turnovers, getting after the quarterback. This is a team that has been one of the best teams all year. Okay. Versus the Chiefs team, and I'm probably going to have to save the NFC title game breakdown, and number 1 overall pick Jared Goff versus Mr. Irrelevant, okay, Brock Purdy, for the end of the show, because I'm going to bring on Coach Amy Williams here in about 5 minutes. Okay. But this is a Chiefs team that's got their best defense they've had probably in about 5 years. Not quite as efficient on offense as they have been. Okay. I've said they've got some holes here and there, yet every week I predict them to win. Why? Because you've got a really good defense. You've still got enough playmakers on offense. Okay. And you got Patrick Mahomes. There is no bigger name quarterback, or big game quarterback, I should say, in the NFL today. Patrick Mahomes has as many Super Bowl championships, and Lamar Jackson's career far surpasses mine. So this ain't disrespect. It's just numbers and facts. He has as many Super Bowl championships as Lamar Jackson does playoff wins. Lamar Jackson's now 2-3 in his career. If Lamar Jackson wants to be in that conversation with Patrick Mahomes beyond just what he does in the regular season, he's got to get the win this weekend. They're favored, in my opinion, to have the better team. They have the home field advantage. Okay, I'm going to go Ravens. They're favored by 4 points. I'm going to go Ravens by a touchdown. Okay, so I'm going to take the Ravens with the spread and then a field goal. Okay, but anytime you got a good defense, even if you got some holes and you're not as good as you've been recently and you got Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs could pull it out, but I am going to go Ravens by a touchdown. And this is a big game when it comes to Lamar Jackson, okay, and his quote-unquote legacy. Lamar's my favorite player in the NFL to watch right now. He is. I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for the Ravens. I'm rooting for Lamar, okay? Don't really want to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl again. Patrick Mahomes is phenomenal. Best quarterback in the game today, in my opinion. But I'm rooting for the Ravens, and I'm rooting for Lamar, and I'm predicting them to win this game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a commercial break. And when we come back, I'll chat with head Nebraska women's basketball coach, Amy Williams. Don't go anywhere.
Problem gambling is not just a financial issue. It's an emotional problem with financial consequences. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
If you want all the latest technologies from those big banks, but you also want that hometown feel when you walk in the front doors, choose Midwest Bank. They have top-notch technology. They make banking so easy, and they also have the friendliest staff who will take their time to get to know you and treat you like family. You get the best of both worlds when you choose Midwest Bank. I live on the go, and now I can bank on the go. With Midwest Bank, I have everything I need at my fingertips. I'm volleyball player Allie Batenhorst, and at Midwest Bank, you'll love banking here.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Junior Achievement at Lincoln inspires and prepares today's young dreamers to be tomorrow's goal breakers, leaders, and things we haven't even imagined yet. Help more kids while having a great time at the JA Bowl-a-thon. Sign your team up and raise money to ensure the educational programs focused on financial literacy, career readiness, and entrepreneurship are always free to thousands of students. The JA Bowl-a-thon is February 16th and 17th at Parkway Lanes and Hollywood Bowl. Register at lincoln.ja.org.
Are you in the market for a new garage door or need to repair your old one? It's wintertime, and that means snow, wind, and freezing temperatures. All things that can cause sticky locks and damage to your garage door. If you're experiencing any issues with your commercial or residential garage door during the winter months, call Cameron Hall and his team at Doors Plus. Don't be trapped outside in the cold because of a poorly maintained garage door. Call Doors Plus today at 402-590-5800 or visit them online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Acres, your premier John Deere dealer, has the largest selection of late model equipment in the Midwest. And for a limited time, Acres is offering low-rate financing on all 2021 and 2022 S and X Series combines and 8 Series tractors. Qualified buyers can earn 3.9% financing for 60 months. And as an added bonus for your holiday season, if you purchase one of Acres' eligible machines before December 31st, you'll get a $5,000 gift card from Shields. Go to acres.com to learn more.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
You're listening to Adam Carriker on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Adam Carriker on The Ticket. And I'm very happy and thrilled to be joined by the special guest that is joining me now. Just catch you all up to speed. She was a 4-year letter winner at Nebraska from 1995 to 1998. Before, she'd been here at Nebraska for 8 years, since 2000. 2016. She led Dakota to the WNIT championship in 2016. She was a 2018 Big Ten Coach of the Year, also a Naismith National Coach of the Year finalist, and she's led the Huskers to the NCAA tournament in 2018 and 2022. Coach Amy Williams, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, Adam, I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing good, and I appreciate you taking the time to join me. So, the season so far, you're 13-6 at this point. Okay, so talk to me about how you feel about the team so far, how they're doing at this point, and looking ahead to the rest of the season.
Yeah, I feel like we are still a growing team, which I'm excited about. I think, you can tell as a head coach when you have a group that's really bought in and excited about continuing to grow. We haven't peaked, and that's okay. We've had some really good wins, and we've had some tough losses, but we feel like we're still crescendoing towards the end of the season, which is where we want to be. We've got kids that are in the gym every day, really working hard, continuing to try to polish up on the things we need to get better at. And so I feel incredibly encouraged about the opportunities that we still have in front of us on our schedule. We've got a number of ranked opponents, and when you play in the Big Ten Conference, you have a lot of opportunity to have some really good resume building wins throughout the entirety of that schedule. So we're pretty excited about that, excited about this weekend, and lots of good things coming from this team.
Yeah, you mentioned so you're a team that's still learning, growing, developing, very common at this point. So talk to me about some of the players who have kind of taken that leadership role in your locker room so far this season. Which players have stood out the most to you when it comes to being a leader on this team?
Yeah, I mean, there's really kind of two that stand out the most, and the first would be Alexis Markowski, and she and Jazz Shelley have both kind of taken a very big leadership role for this group, and I think they lead in very different ways, Adam. They Alex is a really competitive kind of rah-rah, like wants to compete every day in practice, every drill. She's hollering out, like, we got to get a stop right here. We need a three. We got to she just keeps that competitive fire all the time. And the real growth I've seen in her leadership is she just this year has just taken another step forward in her self-accountability, which has really impacted the rest of our team in their ability to kind of look in the mirror and say, okay, yeah, Alexis is producing double-doubles on a regular basis, but still looking in the mirror about how can I get better for our team and have a bigger impact on our ability to win. It makes everybody else want to do the same. And I think Jazz Shelley is leaning heavy on her experience, and she's been just a tremendous example for our team about what's your response look like when things are going great for you, but when things are not going great for you, how do you respond? Can you find something else to throw yourself into that will still impact our team in a positive manner? Playing great defense if your shot's not falling, whatever it might be. And I think she's really grown in that area and been a very excellent leader by example for our team in that realm.
Now, your team has shown what they're capable. You've gotten hots at certain times this year. You started off 10-2. You're deep within the meat of the Big Ten schedule at this point. As you mentioned, opportunities for resume builders, opportunities to play against really good opponents within the Big Ten Conference. And I talked a little bit about consistency at the top of this program. What's the biggest key to developing consistency within a team that's still learning, growing, and developing within the meat of this Big Ten Conference schedule?
The big key to that, Adam, and it's really, really tough, but you've got to find a way to take care of business and protect your home court, but then you also have to be able to take the show on the road. And, that's something that we're really learning. We've got to be able to have, in our last 3 ball games, we played outstanding, focused, complete 40-minute game against Michigan at home. But the 2 road games, we could point to significant points in the game where we maybe lost our focus for a few minutes, and the really good teams in this league are going to make you pay when you do that. So being able to have that focused approach for 40 minutes and being able to sneak a couple road wins to develop the consistency that you want, and that's a tough challenge in the Big Ten Conference. I mean, I feel like we really challenged ourselves with our schedule this season and put ourselves in a position where, it was going to be tough challenge, but also because of that, we feel like we're prepared for anything that's going to come down the stretch, and we've also put ourselves in a position where we're in pretty good standing in net rankings. Right now, 27th in the net ranking, and that's just a credit to the schedule that we've played.
So if fans, and I'm sure fans are aware of this, but if fans have ever wondered the type of impact that you can have on a game, like the Lady Huskers are about 500 on the road. They're winning almost 90% of their games at home. So I would urge the fans to keep coming out, showing support, showing up to the games, and show some love for the Lady Huskers basketball program here. Now, you've got Iowa coming up. Obviously, they're pretty good, 18-2 overall, 7-1 within the Big Ten. Does this game, just kind of the rivalry aspect a little bit, Nebraska versus Iowa in general, does this game mean a little bit more to you as far as just from the rivalry aspect at all?
Well, I think there is that. I mean, there's just no doubt about it that that has become a real thing. And I think, Adam, when I played at Nebraska and, there were some different rivalries in the Big 12, but since we've moved into the Big Ten Conference, it's been a real healthy and fun kind of rivalry between Iowa and Nebraska. We find ourselves very, very familiar with each other's rosters. We find ourselves in recruiting battles quite extensively with their roster. So I think there's some merit to that, no doubt about it. But in the grand scheme of things, our team really tries to keep our focus on, what these opportunities can do for us and our team and the goals that we have set out for ourselves, and what a win at Iowa City would do for us, and just a really special opportunity. And so we're trying to stay focused on that and not let it get super emotional.
I'm joined on the Aloe Fiber VIP line by Nebraska women's basketball head coach Amy Williams. All right, can't talk about Iowa women's basketball without Caitlin Clark. So talk to me about what it's like to prepare for a player like that, and how you try to teach the girls, the ladies, as they get ready to take on Iowa, Caitlin Clark, and how you try to defend a really good player like that.
Yeah, I mean, she's a tremendous player. Everybody's asking, how can you slow her? How can you stop her? I don't think there's very many people that have cracked that code yet. I mean, when, in her last couple ball games, there's been multiple over 30-point performances, even a 45-point performance in their loss at Ohio State. So I think, it's really challenging to kind of figure out. Her game is so well-rounded. It's well documented that she can, score from all kinds of places on the court. And if you do this and take this, she'll take this and do this. And, I think the underrated, parts of her game is she's deceptively fast. She's in outstanding condition, never seems to really fatigue. And so our ability to potentially, kind of run some different people at her and make it a team effort to try to slow her down, but even more focus on trying to help contain her supporting cast, which is a tough task in and of itself. There's a lot of really experienced 6th-year and 5th-year players out there on the court at the same time as her, and so they tend to play pretty poised, and they know their roles. They play within their roles, and so but finding ways to really keep your focus for 40 minutes so that her supporting cast doesn't just go crazy as well.
All right, so you do something similar in practice that I've seen John Cook do with the Nebraska volleyball team, is you tend to practice against guys. Like in your practices, the team is practicing 5-on-5 or whatever the drill may be, going against guys. So my question is this: where do you find these guys? Okay, how do I get this job? How do I apply for this? And just where do you find these guys at?
Yes. Well, I have awesome recruiters on my coaching staff, and that includes not just for our active playing roster, but also finding great, just reliable young men that are committed, that really want to be a part of it, that know and value just how important their role is in our preparation every day, and that really kind of are somebody that we can depend on, that are going to show up, whether we have a Saturday morning practice at 8 a.m. or whether we've got a evening practice at 7 p.m. They're there and they are dependable and reliable. And so we are constantly recruiting those, a lot of word of mouth, several kids that, on our male practice team who play in rec ball or play in certain leagues, and they're like, hey, we should talk to this guy. They're recruiting other scout guys for us, and so we've been just really, really blessed with some reliable, amazing guys. And I'll tell you, this week, Cam, who's a kind of a long tenured male practice player, this is his favorite week when he gets to be Caitlin Clark. So
That's pretty cool. That's awesome. And, in watching your practice, these guys not just got to be able to have basketball skills, but they got to be able to go from a 2-3 zone to a 1-3-1 to a full court press to a man-to-man. Then they got to be able to break these things depending on what you want to practice on defense. So they got to have the skills, but they've also got to have pretty good knowledge and, like you mentioned, a high level of commitment. So shout out to your team, your coaching staff, the people who recruit and find these guys, and the male practice players as well. Now, chatting really quick about recruiting. When you're going out and you're recruiting and you're looking for the next lady to join your team, what are specific traits that you might be looking for as you're evaluating potential players?
Well, obviously, talent is something that, all of us coaches are keeping an eye on. But for us, like my players, my assistant coaches know, don't send me to go watch kid if she's not going to play hard. That's one of the biggest traits that we're looking for is competitive nature. And is this player, passionate? Can you see their love for the game? And does that kind of encourage, them to be playing hard on every possession and giving everything they've got? I think that's something that comes out when you watch young women play, and is not only what their talent level is, but how hard and how committed they are to wanting to be the best version of themselves. And that's something that we spend a lot of time, Adam. Once we've identified a player as somebody that we feel like is talented and that their skills match up to what our needs are, but then we will work diligently to communicate with counselors and high school coaches and club coaches and parents and people around that athlete to find out what the intricacies are with their passion for the game, their love for the game, their effort, their energy, that kind of thing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined by Nebraska women's basketball head coach Amy Williams. Be sure to check out GE Landscape Supply at gelandscapesupply.com or call 402-467-1627. And this last question I have for you is one that I'm seriously curious and interested how it's going to play out with sports that travel way more often than football does. So, football team might travel every other weekend. When you have more home games than away games, it's probably not even every other weekend. But with the new Big Ten, and being part of a sport that's going to travel a little bit more often, I chatted with Mark Matting, the wrestling coach, last week. I'm just curious, with the addition of the California teams, the Northwest teams, the Big Ten really being coast to coast, how you think that's going to impact a program and a team like yours when it comes to traveling a little bit more often?
Yeah, to be honest with you, Adam, I really feel like Nebraska, we are well positioned with the new additions in the sense that really we will be crossing 2 time zones when we go out to play on the West Coast. And I understand that there are some ramifications with that, but I really feel like, if our conference schedule is 18 games one way or the other, we might be replacing another trip to the East Coast with another trip to the West Coast. But because of our proximity being very centrally located in the United States, the travel out to California is not significantly different for us than it will be if we travel to Penn State or Maryland or Rutgers, in the travel sense, as far as the flight itself. Now, covering 2 time zones as opposed to 1, that's a challenge in certain, realms. I think you might be, playing a game at, 7 or 8 p.m. out there in California, and that's 10 p.m. start time at home, and you're used to hopefully getting ready to head towards bed around then. So I mean, there's some things there that I think come into play, but I think because of our positioning at Nebraska being very centrally located, I think it's a little less of a concern than if we were Maryland having to travel to the West Coast for games. But I think, from my standpoint, it sounds like, they haven't made a determination yet for sure about whether our conference schedule will go from 18 games, stay at 18 games, maybe move to 19 games. Potentially, they've been talking about going to a 20-game conference schedule for the women. None of that has been determined for sure just yet, but I think if we stay at 18 games, we'll be playing, probably very similar travel than what we're doing right now.
All right, Coach, I want to thank you for taking the time to join me today. I really appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the season, and good luck against Iowa.
Thanks so much, Adam. Have an awesome weekend. Take care.
You too. Thanks, Coach. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. It's Charlie Stone, and here with me is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I hear that new Honda manufacturing continues to go up, and you have new Hondas in stock now.
That's correct, Charlie. We have more than 40 new Hondas in stock right now. It's great that a customer can come in and buy a new Honda and drive it home that day. New Honda inventory keeps getting better each month.
Okay, then. How about used cars, Andy?
We have more than 100 pre-owned vehicles to choose from right now, and a lot of fresh trade-ins are coming in daily. We have just about every maker model you can imagine in any price range.
Thanks again, Andy. People love the selection and great service at Honda of Lincoln. Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your link forecast for today, more fog and freezing fog expected throughout the day. We'll see a high around 34. Tonight, more fog expected with a low around 28. And tomorrow, more fog in the morning, then partly sunny skies for the afternoon. See an afternoon high of around 36. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket. Are you looking for a new spot to relax and unwind? The Post, located on the south side of the Telegraph District on the corner of 20th and N Street, is perfect for a group hangout or a relaxing evening. The Post has plenty of exciting events open to the public, like Whiskey Wednesday and poker tournaments on Sundays. Looking for a spot for a private event? Ask them about their indoor patio. The Post, located at 20th and N Street in Lincoln. If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Cover more acres with a pre-owned sprayer or planter from Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer. We offer one of the area's largest selections of used sprayers, applicators, planters, and seeders. Through the month of January, take advantage of fixed rate financing of 3.9% for up to 60 months or a 12-month interest waiver. Visit your local Landmark Implement location or view our complete sprayer and seeder inventory at landmarkimp.com and experience the Landmark difference.
24/7 threat monitoring, expert tech support, streamlined communications. Allo has a solution for that. Protect your business with Allo Business. Comprehensive firewall security, Microsoft Teams voice integrated communications, cybersecurity and IT support managed by experts. From productivity to peace of mind, Allo has a solution for that. Allo means business. Protect your business by visiting allofiber.com/business.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings. Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through January 30th is $2 off steakhouse burgers and buy one Urban Slicer Pizza Works dough, get an Urban Slicer Pizza Works pizza sauce for free. Don't forget their 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
You're listening to Adam Carriker on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Adam Carriker on The Ticket. All right, if you got any questions, feel free to send them in. Be quick, though. Run out of time here on a fine Friday. Call or text 402-464-5685. That's 402-464-5685. All right, to put a great chat with Amy Williams, by the way. Really enjoyed that. To put a kind of button on that, all right, the women's basketball team is 13-6 right now. Okay, 684 winning percentage, 5-3 in the conference. All right, 9-2 at home, 3-3 on the road. So like she mentioned, sneak out a couple more road wins. Fans keep showing up at home, showing this team some love. Clearly it makes an impact and a positive difference. Okay, and they're currently sitting, all right, tied for 4th in the Big Ten with Penn State and Michigan. Now, they've already thumped Michigan earlier this year by nearly 20 points. They'll play the Wolverines again. The other team that they're tied with, let's see, is Penn State. Okay, Iowa, Indiana, and Ohio State are the top 3 at the top. But the Lady Huskers are right there, tied for 4th. All right, and yeah, that was a really fun chat. Really enjoyed talking with Coach Amy Williams. Keep showing up supporting the men's basketball, the women's basketball teams. All right, let's talk a little bit NFC Championship game. All right, so this is intriguing. The AFC Championship game is intriguing to me because of the coaching matchup. Now, it's also intriguing because of the quarterback matchup. Lamar, Mahomes, you got Reed, you got Harbaugh. Okay, very intriguing matchup. You look at the NFC title game. To me, it's intriguing for a couple of reasons. The quarterback matchup in this one is actually more intriguing to me because you've got a former number 1 overall pick in Jared Goff, a guy who had some pretty good success with the Rams, the team who drafted him. They went all the way to the Super Bowl. Okay, lost a close game to the Patriots that particular year. Okay, he ends up getting traded away in a unique trade, quarterback for quarterback, Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff, and I think there may have been an additional pick with Jared going to Detroit while the Rams got Stafford. Now, the Rams are obviously happy. They got a Super Bowl championship since that. The Rams did lose to the Lions in Detroit. Okay, Stafford going home, so to speak, kind of, sort of. Okay, earlier in the playoffs, and the Lions got that win. But you got the number 1 pick in a previous draft, Jared Goff, a guy who was clearly found a home. The Lions fans are chanting his name before games, which I think has really helped him out, really given him confidence. The coaching staff there has given him confidence, and just the support and the love they've shown him versus a guy who was the last pick in the draft, Mr. Irrelevant in Brock Purdy, and a guy that I find myself rooting for. Now, I did say during their last game, I said, man, I love to root for Brock Purdy, but it's a lot easier basically because I'm not a Niners fan. And that's not a shot. That's just my opinion. I know that it may come across how it comes across, but if you watch the Niners this year, and their losses, whether it's the Eagles, whether it's the Ravens, Brock has struggled in those games. He was clearly outplayed by the opposing quarterback in those games. Now, Brock is a system quarterback in the aspect of he fits perfectly into the 49ers system and what they want to do, which is why he has played so well. Okay, once upon a time, the 49ers traded up to get Trey Lance. Gave up a lot of picks, a lot of first-round picks, a lot of things to get Trey Lance, and Brock Purdy is still here. He's an easy guy to root for. This is intriguing to me because of the backstory on so many levels, okay? A few years ago, 49ers fans would have thought it was Trey Lance starting. Boom, it's Brock Purdy. Okay, a few years ago, Jared Goff was taking the Rams to the Super Bowl. Now he's starting for the Lions, okay? It's a former number 1 pick in a previous draft versus Mr. Irrelevant, Goff, Purdy. Now, the other thing that's intriguing is just the Lions in general. I've talked about the Lions. I've talked about Dan Campbell. I've talked about why I root for this team, why I like Campbell, why I think almost like the Lions, I don't know, have they become America's team? Am I crazy in saying that? I certainly ain't the frickin' Cowboys. Okay, the Cowboys are the most well-known team. That doesn't make you America's team. Although I could argue the Packers, okay, are right up there. Those are probably the 2 most well-known brands in the NFL, okay? A lot of well-known brands in the NFL. You've got the Packers, you got the Steelers, you've got, okay, the 49ers, you got the Cowboys. I would have at one point in time said the team in D.C., and I don't have any idea what to call them at this point, so I guess that damages your brand, but they would have been up there at a certain point. So I've never bought that Dallas was America's team. You can argue they're the most well-known team, but that's about all I would give you. So my point is, the Lions, okay, again, not a lot of big-name players, okay, just hardworking, gritty, which is the exact word that Dan Campbell has built this entire organization around since he took over, is grit. Okay, True Grit, John Wayne. I don't know if you ever saw that movie back in the day. They made a modernized version of it, I don't know, 8-9 years ago. It was okay. It wasn't quite as good. The girl still got bit in the arm by a snake and people still died. And other than that, I don't know. It wasn't much better. I grew up watching, I have seen every John Wayne Western movie in history. Thanks to my dad. Okay. Wasn't a bad childhood. Husker football, John Wayne movies, and there were some other things plugged in there as well. But grit. That's what this Lions team is about. I don't know how you don't root for them. I don't know how you don't at least like them. Okay, unless maybe you're a 49ers fan. By the way, the 49ers have been in 4 of the last 5 NFC title games. They opened up as a 6.5-point favorite. It's now been enlarged. They're now a 7.5-point favorite over the Lions. Oh, man. When it comes to the Ravens and the Chiefs, I actually feel pretty good about picking the Ravens. The Ravens did not look good in the first half versus the Texans because they did not play their starters week 18. Then they had a bye. Then they jumped right into the playoffs, which is a whole nother step or two up from what they had played, okay? But once they got rolling, they rolled the Texans, who rolled the Browns, okay? So I feel pretty good about picking the Ravens. The only thing that makes me nervous is Lamar going to show up and be Lamar, because we know Patrick Mahomes is going to show up and be Patrick Mahomes and then some in a big-time situation. I'm actually less confident in this pick, and I'm going to be honest. It's because I don't know how much I trust Brock Purdy. He makes me nervous. Every time they play a really, really good team and the Niners struggle, it comes back to the quarterback position. I'm going to pick the Niners. I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take them by basically a touchdown or less, 7 or less, because the spread is 7.5. But I'm going to be rooting for the Lions. I kind of feel like they're the team everybody's rooting for. If you don't have an NFL team you already root for already, they kind of become pseudo-America's team because of who they are, who their head coach is, how they approach everything, the fact that they've bought in, how they play, the way they win games. I feel like they're kind of at least America's team for right now. I'm not saying permanently or, never-endingly or even going forward, just going into this Sunday. That's kind of how I feel, all right? I'm rooting for the Lions. I'm predicting the Niners. I'm actually more nervous about this game than the prediction I made in the AFC title game. So go Lions, taking the Niners. All right. See if I got any other final thoughts before we head into the weekend. Overlook my notes here real quick. That's all I got for you, ladies and gentlemen. We talked volleyball, men's basketball, women's basketball, NFL football. Talk about an eclectic mix, ladies and gentlemen. It's what I endeavor to do every day. Kind of, sort of, but we have fun along the way. All right, until next time, go Big Red. And always remember, I'm going to become one of those practice squad guys for the women's basketball team. And I'm going to last about 30 seconds because I am about 15 pounds overweight. I need a surgery in my left knee. So I for like 30 minutes, I'll be the best practice squad player they've ever seen. And then I'm not only going to need a blow, I'm going to need an ambulance ride. All right, until next time, Husker Nation, go Big Red. And always remember to throw the bones.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet,